Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another Mathconnect tutorial. In this lesson, you'll be learning how to convert fractions into decimals. The requirements for this lesson are that you know how to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers, and you know how to do some long division. So let's start with a fraction that you're familiar with, which is 1/2. As you already know, 1/2 is 0.5. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with fractions and decimals, you might be asking the question, but why is that so? Well, let's take a look at that closely. 1/2 means that you have 2 divided into 1. Here's when your long division comes in handy. Now we write 1 as 1.0. So let's do our division. You say how many 2's go into 1, and that is none. You put the decimal point right there. And then you say how many 2's go into 10. Well, you know that 2 times 5 is 10. And that's how we get to 0.5. So how do we convert 1/4 into a decimal? Well, we know that 1/4 is asking us how many 4's would go into 1. Again, we write 1 as 1.0. So we say how many 4's go into 1, and we know that is none. We put a decimal point there, and we say how many 4's go into 10. Well, we know that 4 times 2 is 8 with a remainder of 2. So because there's a remainder, we put another 0 here. And we say, how many 4's go into 20? And the answer is 5. So the fraction 4 as a decimal is 0.25. So let's try one more. Let's say 3/4. How do we convert that into a decimal? We do exactly the same thing. 3/4 means how many 4's can go into 3. Again, I write 3 as 3.0. So let's try this. How many 4's go into 3? Well, you know that's a 0. Put down the decimal point. Now we say how many 4's go into 30. We know that 4 times 7 is 28 with a remainder of 2. Again, because there is a remainder, we put another 0 back here, and we put the remainder up here. Now we say, how many 4's go into 20? And the answer is 5. So 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75. So I want you to have a go now. I want you to convert 2/5 into a decimal. So pause the video, have a go, and come back and see if we have the same answer. So how did you go? Let's see. So we know that 2/5 is asking us how many 5's would go into 2. Again, I write 2 as 2.0. We know that 5 doesn't go into 2, so put a 0 there. We put the decimal place there, and we say, how many 5's go into 20? Well, as you know, 5 times 4 is 20. And there's our answer, 0.4. So 2/5 as a decimal is 0.4. So what happens when we have an improper fraction such as 3/2? Well, we know that 3/2 is asking us how many 2's go into 3. So we write 3 as 3.0. So how many 2's go into 3? 1. We place the decimal point there. Now, 2 goes into 3 one time with a remainder of 1. So now we ask, how many 2's go into 10? The answer is 5. So 3/2 as a decimal is 1.5. So I want you to have a go. I want you to convert 9/5 into a decimal. So pause the video, have a go, and come back and we'll see if you have the right answer. So how did you go? Let's find out. So 9/5 means how many 5's can go into 9? Again, we write 9 as 9.0 first. So how many 5's go into 9? Well, we know 5 goes into 9 one time with a remainder of 4. We put the decimal point there. So how many 5's now go into 40? The answer is 8. So 9/5 as a decimal is 1.8. So if you're in an exam situation and they ask you to convert 9/5 into a decimal, and you've done all your calculations and you get an answer of 1.8. So how do you know that answer is correct? Well, you can always double check. And the way you do that is you convert 1.8 into a fraction. Now, to convert 1.8 into a fraction, you move the decimal spot over once, so the numerator becomes 18. And because you moved the decimal spot one place, the denominator becomes 10. Now, if you simplify 18 over 10, you know that the answer is 9/5, which is correct. Similarly, if we wanted to know if 3/2 was actually 1.5, we do exactly the same thing. We convert 1.5 into a fraction. So we move the decimal place over once. So the numerator is 15 and the denominator, because you've only moved the decimal point one spot, the denominator is 10. If you simplify 15 over 10, you get 3/2. So there is your confirmation that you've done the right thing. And that concludes our lesson. As always, if you enjoyed this lesson or found it useful, please support the channel by subscribing and spread the word.